Alright, this video is going to be on replacing the bushing on the hatchback of a 1990 Mustang. I'm sure a lot of people, like me, try to close their hatch, and after a while, they keep closing and closing. It doesn't latch. They don't know why, and so they just close it and they leave it alone. This is a 1/2-inch bushing that you can buy on the internet for $3.99. You can make your own. I'll put dimensions on here. I just did a video on how to put these bushings on the front doors of a car, of the Mustang, but you can do this on any vehicle that is having a problem latching. So some people use 1/2-inch tubing, plastic tubing, which is ridiculous, because if you're going to spend the time to do this, why use a piece of clear plastic crap that's going to fall apart and break sooner or later? It might not, but why not spend the money and at least do it the right way? You can buy a whole new striker plate for your vehicle, for your hatchback, for about $38 that comes with this washer, but you shouldn't need the whole striker plate, or the striker bolt, whatever that thing is. You shouldn't need that. You just need the bushing. So you don't really need to watch me try to open up and close my hatchback. It hasn't worked in probably 4 or 5 years easily. So I'm gonna open up the hatch right now, and hopefully I can get this thing fixed on my own. If not, then I've got the weekend to take it to my mechanic, or leave my hatch open for the rest of the car's existence. So that's the part that's going to be put in there, and I'll go open up the hatch now and see what happens. You're going to need probably a T50 Torx tool. Make sure it's a good one and not a piece of crap tool, because there's a lot of torque on these, and you're going to need a lot of force to loosen it and then to tighten it up. And a lot of these tools will break right off over here. Okay, this video is on the hatchback striker plate. I had to remove a screw over here and a screw over there so that I can work with this thing. I might have to take off another panel inside here so I can get the tool in there. I'll be putting the T50 Torx on there. I have marked my striker plate with some white ink so that hopefully I can get this thing lined up exactly the way it was and I won't have alignment problems. So the next step is to put the T50 in there, unscrew this. Let me see. It's not the greatest amount of light, but you can see, let me zoom in, you can see how worn out this thing is. And that's, I guess, why this car is not, you can see how this is completely worn out, and that's why supposedly why the hatch doesn't latch. It's all worn out, it's all scratched up over here. It's probably much smaller than it needs to be, so I'm going to put on the new part and see what happens. Okay, you can see that I removed the striker plate, the bolt, and behind that is I guess that's the power switch that activates this thing, I think. I don't know what the hell that switch is. There is the striker plate. Looks like I'm going to be unscrewing the bolt from the back plate. There might be a washer behind it, and then I'll put the new bushing on. Okay, the bushing's off, and you can see, as they said online, that it's a little bit shorter than what the original is, but it should work. So I will get you the exact dimensions of the one I'm taking off in case you want to make your own instead of buying this, and I'll post that on the video. So I'm going to put the new bushing on now, and then put this all back together and screw it in and see if this hatch works for the first time in 5, 8, 10 years. Alright, you can see that I've got it in. I'm just tightening things down, and then I'm going to line up my little ink marks and my scratch marks that I put on here for alignment purposes. Like I said, you can see that this thing is a little bit shorter than the original, but it's supposed to work. I will find out. Okay, final result of the hatchback. The hatchback was extremely difficult to do, very simple to get out the striker. Once I put on the bushing, I couldn't get the door to latch. It would not latch at all. I wasn't sure if the latch was broken or if the striker wasn't positioned properly. Luckily, I was able to drive over to my auto mechanic and he did the exact same thing that I did. He tightened the screw and it closed right away. So maybe I was just in a rush. I was worried that I was going to have a broken hatch for the whole night. So do this early in the day so you don't have to worry about leaving your vehicle unattended and unlocked or opened. These are the dimensions of the bushing. This is the length, you know, how long the whole thing is. That is the outside diameter of the bushing, and then the opening, that's the inside diameter. The original inside diameter was 0.510. The replacement varied from 0.490 to 0.505 inches. So make sure that you find a 1/2 inch piece of material inside diameter if you're going to do this yourself. It's kind of ridiculous to spend $4 per bushing. So, you know, it's not my money, but if I can help you save some bucks, good for me, good for you. Outside diameter was 0.693 on the original, 0.700 to 0.715. That's pretty important too, because if the outside diameter is too thick, then then this thing's not going to fit into either the opening on the latch or on either the door or the hatchback. So you need to make sure that this round thing is not too wide on the outer dimension. So both of these things are fairly important. As I said originally, I did PVC pipe, and if you look over here, PVC pipe outside diameter was 0.942, and you can look at the numbers over there for outside diameter, 0.942. 0.842, I can't read. Okay, outside diameter was 0.842. You look over here, that's way too big. I mean, that is like 0.15 bigger. It's like a 1/10 of an inch bigger, rounder, and there's no way that the bushing is going to fit inside the latch so that the door closes. Inside diameter on the PVC was 0.590. Inside diameter should be 0.5, so that was almost a 1/10 of an inch slop that the bushing was flopping around on the striker bolt. And that's why if you think you're going to buy a 1/2 inch PVC pipe and do this on your own, you were wrong. You're going to have to find some other pipe that has these dimensions of 1/2 inch, very critical, that 1/2 inch on the inside diameter, because you can't have this thing flopping around. There's just no way. And length 0.890, and the original was 0.945. The original 0.945, that's on the door. Now, if you saw my video, the striker bushing needs to be a little bit longer on the hatchback. It doesn't need to be. I mean, it works. The thing works perfectly because the latch doesn't even hit the striker at the part where it's not covered. So you can use the things you can buy on the internet for $3.99 if you want to, or if you make your own, or you can make it a little bit bigger. I would give you the length of that, except the bushing's sitting in my car, and I don't want to unlock it tonight just in case it doesn't want to latch. I don't want to leave it parked unattended with it not locked, and I don't want to slam that thing anymore. But it looked like it worked today. I closed it 4 times with the mechanic and everything worked fine. And no, he didn't charge me because he realized it was a lame. I had the tool, he just went over there and tightened it again and everything worked. So I was, like I said, I was just in a rush to make sure it worked. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm going to put this on both the video for the hatchback replacement bushing and the door replacement bushing. So you're going to get this info for both of those. This does work. It will make it easier to close your doors and your hatchback. Alignment is a pain in the ass. Don't think that it isn't. You might be lucky, but I had to adjust all 3 of these strikers, the striker plate, so that it closed properly. I kept on slamming the door shut until finally I had everything positioned right. Good luck, and this is an easy to do thing. It is just, the replacement will take you less than about 2 to 3 minutes at the most, and the alignment hopefully will not take you a long time. Alignment on my door probably took 10 minutes on the first one. Once I figured out how to line things up a little better, even though I had everything marked, once I figured out how to line things up, alignment on the second door was probably 2 minutes, and then I messed with it a little bit till I got it to latch better. And it still doesn't latch 100%. A couple times today I've closed the door and I needed more force than usual, and then it closes perfectly. And it looks really good. It closes the way it should be, but it's not an easy just touch that door and it closes. What else? Of course, it also doesn't have some grease or lubricant on there, and it's just it's a new bushing. I probably don't have the thing 100% lined up the way it should be, but it's working and I'm happy. As far as the hatch, like I told you, that was very difficult to do. And I saw a video on here where the guy goes, pops a little piece of tubing on there and shuts his door and everything works fine. That is not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to align that easily. But you can do this, and you will be happy once you do. So buy the parts, make your own bushing, whatever you want to do, and hopefully this video helped.